Greetings, Gulls, and welcome to This Week at Endicott. I'm Rebecca Turner.
And I'm Marie Wilson. Here's what's happening this week across campus.
In preparation for its event on Friday, Relay for Life will have a social media takeover all day on Wednesday. Keep an eye out for their posts.
At 6 p.m., participate in the Buddhist Sangha. Head over to Wax 126 and learn about Buddhism and meditate with your community. At 6:30, the Christian Student Prayer meeting will take place in Lower Callahan.
At 6:15 in the Little Theater in the library, join the discussion of the Forbidden Library Banned Books program. Dinner will be provided and participation is limited. Reserve your spot through the link in your Blue Buzz email.
At 7 p.m. in Wax 126, embrace your own mindfulness and enjoy the Freedom Meditation. Stop by for a great conversation and self-reflection.
It is time to recognize the hard work and success of our student leaders and organizations. Please take a minute to make your nomination. All of the awards and descriptions are listed on the form through the link in your Blue Buzz.
On Thursday, wear purple around campus to show your support for Relay for Life and the fight against cancer.
The Beverly Council on Aging Walking Club is back, and it's time to get your walk on. Join our elder neighbors for some light exercise and conversation. Meet outside Wiley Conference Center in Fountain at 10 a.m.
At noon via Zoom, Sasha Shaw, PhD candidate, is scheduled to defend her dissertation titled The Effects of Interteach and Discussion Forum Activities. You can access the link through your Blue Buzz email.
On Friday at 2 p.m. in room 125 of the VPAC, come learn to make beats, produce your song, and record at the Recording Studio Open Workshop. Email Owen Burkett for more information.
Starting at 5 p.m., Relay for Life hosts a 12-hour event to celebrate those who have battled cancer, remember those who we have lost, and fight back against the horrible disease. Be a part of this amazing and fun-filled event. Sign up through the link in your Blue Buzz email.
Northeast ARC delivers lifelong support services to people with developmental disabilities. Friday night happenings take place every Friday night from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. and volunteers are always needed. Themes include talent shows, pizza parties, craft nights, dances, and more. You can sign up through your Blue Buzz email.
On Saturday, sit back and enjoy a couple of great doubleheaders, courtesy of Endicott Athletics. At noon and 2 p.m., the softball team takes on Gordon College, while at noon and 3 p.m., baseball matches up against Western New England University. Go Gulls!
On Sunday from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m., be a part of the Hope Project at Welch Elementary School in Peabody. Volunteers are needed for table coverage and providing resources to families in need. Sign up through the link in your Blue Buzz email.
On Monday in the Hospitality Suite in the Poe Center, come learn about Comfort Zone camps and how volunteers make an impact. The presentation includes lunch and runs from noon until 1 p.m.
Applications to study abroad in fall 2022 are open through Friday, April 15th. For the complete list of semester abroad programs, study abroad information sessions, and all the great study abroad incentives, click on the links in the Blue Buzz.
Do you love a specific book? Let others know. Be a part of the Endicott community of readers. Share a book recommendation through the link in your Blue Buzz, and you will be entered to win a $20 Amazon gift card.
How mindful are you about the amount of plastic waste you throw away? Acme Wasley and the Endicott Environmental Society have some great tips to share. Let's check it out.
Greetings. Welcome to the environmental segment. This is Acme Wasley. Today we are going to talk about plastics. Plastic is accumulated largely by households, but big companies are the majority of the issue. Plastic is used unnecessarily, is not disposed of properly, and is discarded in landfills rather than being recycled. Contaminated sewer runoff and storm water also flow macro and microplastics into the ocean. Illegal dumping contributes to the plastic buildup as well and is difficult to police. Lastly, large fishing companies are to blame for plastic nets getting discarded in the ocean. This makes up the majority of plastic in the oceans. Consumers can be more mindful of plastic waste through a number of ways. Consumers can purchase bulk or reusable items to avoid single-use plastic. You can clean and recycle plastics, cook your own food, avoiding to-go containers, or consumable with a lot of packaging. Educate yourself and others. The Endicott Environmental Society hopes to make students mindful of how much plastic film they use and remind them that it can be put in plastic film recycling bins or get repurposed. The EES is currently collecting plastic bags and plastic film to repurpose into sleeping mats for the homeless. This has been an ongoing project. EES members have been busy making plarn or plastic yarn with old shopping bags. The plarn will then be crocheted into sleeping mats and donated. Any Endicott student is welcome to stop by an EES meeting to help out or learn more. They can also email EES with any more questions about this project, the club, or sustainability. My advice is, please be wise and healthy with your choices when you are planning to be sustainable in the environment. Thank you.
You've all heard the term MILF, but there's a whole other demographic that doesn't get nearly as much press, until now. Let's find out what Michaela and Harrison think about some of today's more famous DILFs.
Hello, and welcome to the DILF debate. I'm your host, Michaela Mickelson, and today we will be discussing the DILFs of the modern day. It goes without saying what the acronym stands for, but here to give us his expertise is DILF historian Harrison Seam.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk about DILFs today.
Of course, so I hear you have a PhD, or PhDILF to be exact, and an aspiring DILF yourself, is that correct?
I've been aspiring since I was 13.
That's the age when we all start. All right, so today we will be discussing these hot dads from the modern day. We're going to divide them into 3 categories: obvious DILFs, underappreciated DILFs, and questionable DILFs. You will give your opinions and we'll discuss them together.
That sounds like a plan.
I know, we got a debate. All right, let's start with probably the most obvious one, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd. He was the 2021 Sexiest Man Alive and is best known for his roles as Ant-Man, Mike Hannigan on Friends, and Josh is Clueless. Still think it's weird that he ended up with his stepsister, but now Harrison, how would you consider Paul Rudd a DILF?
Well, I think he doesn't age. I mean, you look at him on Friends as Mike Hannigan, and now here we are, like 20-something years later, he looks exactly the same.
He aged like fine wine.
Yeah, or fine wine ages like him. But, he's a DILF just because of the fact he doesn't age. He's one of those people like Keanu Reeves, cannot age.
True. Should have added Keanu Reeves to this segment. Don't worry. Next time, Harrison. Next time.
Okay.
Do you think he was deserving of 2021's Most Sexiest Man Alive?
I can't say.
What do you mean?
I don't know who the other people in the category were, so I don't know if I
If you had to pick from your little mindscape, could you decide?
No. There's just too many DILFs out there.
That's true. Too many in the popular day. Sometimes I
Yeah.
think they get more appreciation than their female counterparts, but that is another discussion. So let's move on. And now, every straight man's dream, we're on to Ryan Reynolds, married to Blake Lively with 3 kids. Deadpool seems to be the most popular among these DILFs, especially among the men. Thoughts, Harrison?
Deadpool is just such a great, series of movies. Loves breaking the fourth wall, and Ryan Reynolds, probably one of the funniest people out there. He's done so many movies, especially recently. He's just such a great human being, has amazing personality, and his relationship with Blake Lively gives him some brownie points.
I know, they're so cute together. I did hear a rumor that they may or may not get divorced, and that kind of scares me.
That's really sad. If they get divorced, I've lost faith in humanity.
I know. So what makes you think Ryan Reynolds is so popular among men?
I think it's just because of his personality, and he's just so funny, and he's just in action movies, comedy movies. He just has that sort of, personality about him.
I keep seeing TikTok trends where it's like the girlfriend would text their boyfriend and be like, who's the prettiest girl in the world? And they're like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, obviously. And I'm like, oh, man.
I totally agree.
We do agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now on to a dad that I don't know. I don't really see it unless he's in uniform. Another one is former Patriot Tom Brady. And like I said, personally, I don't see it as much as the charm as in others. But as we know, he's on the Buccaneers now. See it in the photo. He does look really good there. So Harrison, what do you think?
Okay, I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady. He is the worst athlete in the history of sports. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here, but I absolutely hate Boston sports. He can go kiss himself.
Oh, that's aggressive. But he's on the Buccaneers now, so how do you feel about that?
I still strongly dislike Tom Brady.
So when you heard him coming out of retirement after 2 months, you were like,
What a pathetic piece of garbage.
why? What did Tom Brady do to you?
Exist and play for the Patriots.
Why? What's wrong with Boston sports?
My family is all New Yorkers. I have to have that New York pride.
I guess so. So Jimmy Garoppolo does nothing for you?
Who?
Are you kidding me?
I don't really follow.
I don't
Boston
either, but
sports.
Jimmy Garoppolo is so hot.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're talking about Tom Brady right now, and I despise Tom Brady.
You know, his clothing brand really isn't it. He has a documentary out, have yet to watch it. Wemmer was talking about it. He said sports were fake, but
Okay, that's Todd Wimmer, so
I know.
that's another story.
We gotta watch Shawshank for the next class. But anyway, since we finished up our obvious DILF section, now we're on to some underappreciated DILFs. Ones that fly under the radar and don't get as much love. Are there any in particular that come to mind for you as a historian?
Me.
You're not a dad, though.
No. When I become a dad.
You're
Yeah.
gonna say you? Okay, but
Yeah.
what about in pop culture?
Jack Black, I think, is heavily underappreciated. Nacho Libre, Tenacious D. You know, he's such a musical icon. You can see him working with kids in School of Rock, and I mean, he's just such a lovable personality.
I did love him in School of Rock as well as the Muppet movie.
Yeah, I've not seen the Muppet movie.
Oh my God, a classic.
Yeah, Jack Black is just a legend, though.
Good thing you mentioned Jack Black. He will be appearing later in the show. You may not like what section he's in, though.
Oh, God.
I know. Anyone else before we go on to our first underappreciated one?
He's my only one.
He's your only one?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So on to our underappreciated dads. We love him in Grown Ups and his pairings with Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Aniston. It's Adam Sandler. He's got 2 kids, he's 55, and he's my birthday twin. So I really had to give him some love on the show. I don't know why more people don't love him.
I actually met someone a month ago whose family owns the property where Grown Ups was filmed.
Really?
In that lodge cabin up in Essex, or I think Essex or Gloucester or something.
Ooh.
So,
Wait, that cabin is in Mass?
yeah,
He does film all his movies in Mass.
yeah, because he's a New Hampshire guy.
That's true.
So I think he likes the North Shore. I think he was from Manchester. But for me, as someone who loves comedy, Adam Sandler is one of the greats of the last 30 years. He's him, Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey. I love those guys so much. All of them, iconic movies, iconic comedians, funny people. And from what I hear with a lot of people who are friends with Adam Sandler, for the ladies out there, Adam Sandler has a great work ethic. He's been, when he first joined Saturday Night Live, he said he was going to be the next Eddie Murphy. So
He was on Saturday Night Live?
yeah, in the 90s. But he so apparently has one of the best work ethics in the industry, and he's also really good at music. So for the ladies out there, Adam Sandler should be higher on this list.
I know. I don't know why more people don't talk about him. Obviously, me and my roommate came up with this list, sober, might I add. There are about 42 different men on the list, more coming. But I really had to pick and choose for the segment today. So,
There are 42 people on that list.
some of them aren't dads. My friend's obsessed with Harry Styles, and she's specifically Harry Styles with a mustache gives off major DILF energy. And I said, he's not a dad. And she said, but mustache Harry. I said, okay.
Doesn't Harry Styles also have 3 nipples?
Yeah, he's got more than the average. I know that much. Apparently he's coming out with a new album on May 20th. My roommate was crying about it as I was walking here.
I thought you were going to say he was coming out with a new nipple.
No. But we're kind of getting off track. So now on to one that many may not know is a father, our short king, Pitbull, also known as Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305. He's got 6 kids. Isn't that crazy?
That is very crazy.
Did you even know he had 1 kid?
I forgot that he existed, if I'm totally honest.
What are you talking about?
I don't really listen to his music that much.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
He's a musical genius. No wonder he's on this list.
Yeah, he's someone who never really crosses my mind very much. I think he's kind of low on the categories in the world of DILFdom.
You think it's because he has a shaved head? Or because he's short?
Both.
No. I mean, I don't think he looks good with hair, though. We pulled up a picture of him with hair. Was not his look.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so like, if I were to get a boyfriend, I don't really care if they're short, you know? As long as they don't make a big deal about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some men are like that, Harrison.
That's like my friend Hunter, who's like 5'3", and that's like part of his whole personality.
Ugh. I mean, if they're short, they have to be funny, too.
Yeah.
And at least Pitbull has some great hits. You know, Timber with Kesha. Anything he does with Neo. I very much so jam to him on the highway, and I tend to disassociate and may or may not miss the eggs that I'm supposed to get off on when I'm listening to Pitbull.
You should get a pit bull, like an actual dog pit bull, and jam out to Pitbull on the highway.
I'd want a dog like a pit bull. I love pit bulls.
I mean,
What do you think would take Pitbull? What do you think it would take for Pitbull to get higher on this list?
If he gets taller.
If he gets taller?
Yeah, so, you know.
So if he wore some lifts, you think he'd move up a few spaces?
If he improved his musical talents.
I don't know what you're talking about. And before we argue, we're going to move on to our questionable category, which is the 3rd category. I do want to preface this by saying that the first DILF in this category I consider to be underappreciated. But by popular opinion, people say he is not a DILF. So here we have a Jack Black for the debate. He is the Kung Fu Panda himself with 2 sons. I know you said earlier he's underappreciated. How do you feel that the majority of people consider him questionable?
You know, I get that I look like Jack Black all the freaking time. So I kind of feel a personal connection with Jack Black. And whenever people say anything rude about Jack Black, I always get offended. I also love him in every single movie he's ever been in. So,
he's just so lovable.
Yeah. He was on the last episode of Conan O'Brien's talk show, and I love Conan.
You're more well-versed in the TV world than I am, Harrison.
I deeply apologize.
No, it's okay. It's just every time you talk about something, I pretend to know what it is when I very obviously don't, and I feel dumb. But anyway.
I'm sorry.
What do you think it would take for Jack Black to get higher on the list or to be more popular with the ladies in the world?
I think the ladies need to change for him.
No, I know what you're saying. Completely agree. So underappreciated. He's so lovable, so funny, has so much to give.
Yes, he's amazing, and I think anyone who doesn't like Jack Black should change their mindset.
Okay. We gotta talk about this last questionable man before we say our goodbyes. We're gonna look at Frank Gallagher in Shameless, specifically the character Frank Gallagher. My roommate says yes, but she's attracted to men that are basically cigarettes in human form, and I say it's a strong no. What about you, Harrison?
Personally, I've never seen Shameless. I have no idea who Frank Gallagher is.
Just think of like a wrinkly, old, alcoholic, drug addict, cigarette addict man. He's greasy.
Why is he not higher on the list then?
Because he's gross, Harrison.
He should be as high on the list as he possibly should be.
I have standards, Harrison.
Okay.
I may not be picky, but I have standards.
So what are standards?
You don't have any when it comes to those?
No.
Okay, well, it was a great show. I stopped watching it after Fiona left, but his character, terrible dad. So that's why he was on the list, solely because he's a dad and because my roommate said so.
Okay.
I can't do it. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Before we leave, I want to give some honorable mentions. Love you, Ty Burrell. Love you, Robert Downey Jr., the fathers of One Direction, Jerry from Wizards of Waverly Place, Johnny Depp, Idris Elba, Chadwick Boseman, Billy Ray Cyrus, and so many others that I can't even mention. Sam really wanted me to mention David Beckham. So David Beckham, if you're watching, sorry if you weren't on this list. Anyone you want to add before we say our goodbyes?
Hopefully there's a part 2 about MILFs someday.
Oh, Of course. Thank you so much for joining us, Harrison, and thank you, fellow DILF enthusiasts, for tuning in. The next episode is on MILFs.
Let's go. So exciting.
That's all we have for you this week, girls.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.